Alright, welcome back to the channel. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, but as you'll see in this video, we've been very busy. So grab yourself a cup of coffee and settle in because we have a lot to share and some big news. Also, if you like what you see here, don't forget to like and subscribe.
We're going to breakfast in Hardin. So we're gonna meet up with some people that Buzz knows for breakfast. And I'm really excited because I want a waffle. I really miss my waffle maker.
Well, we had such a good time at breakfast, we decided to take them up on their offer to have us visit the property and spend the afternoon together. Maple really enjoyed riding the quad with us, but when we got back inside the fence, we put her down, and then she just wanted to run alongside us the rest of the day. But she did take the occasional break and hop back up on the quad with us for some rest. Alright, we are out here at my buddy Cleve's place, out here south of Hardin, 10-15 miles. He's kind enough to let us take the quad out for a little bit. We're up here on the back 40 of his 80-acre property. Maple's up there running around. Maple, come on! There she comes. Betsy's up here looking at rocks and stuff. Nice little Saturday. It's Thursday, it's about 8:30 in the morning. I'm just out here at the dog park with Maple, letting her run around and do her thing. It's starting to get into, you know, the campground's peak season. I think they're gonna open up the campground around April 1st. And right now it is March 24th. So some of the, you know, the rules that, you know, we've been able to slide by with all winter long, you know, a lot of KOAs and established campgrounds, you know, you got to have your dog on a leash outside. It can't be on like a line that's longer than like, you know, 8 feet on the campsite. Little stuff like that, but it hasn't been a problem because we've been here basically by ourselves and a couple other people all winter, and everybody knows the dogs. But you know, all that stuff is about to change. You know, there are people coming in and camping for a couple nights and a week here and there and stuff, so the rules are changing a little bit and it's just getting a little more restricting. And we've been here about 4 months. We've really enjoyed it. I was very fortunate enough to have a lot of work to do here, and I actually finished up all that work a couple weeks ago, and everything has worked out really well, and we've really enjoyed the time and the experience here. But it's time for us to move on to that next step in this whole, you know, mad science experiment of moving across the country and stuff. So, and I'm really fortunate that I have a friend who lives about 6 miles away, and he's got about 20 or 30 acres, and he's got horses and all kinds of stuff, you know, and he has offered to let us pull onto his property for the next week until we're ready to move on. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So today it's gonna be a lot of work. I'm just going to start tearing down all the skirting, start getting the camper ready for transport. Betsy went to work today, so, you know, by the time she gets off work, I'd like to have everything torn down and moved over to the new spot. We're going to go back here shortly and start the process and pull up stakes and hit the road. So here we go. Alright, so basically to get this process started, I'm inside the camper right now just getting some more coffee and whatnot, but luckily most of the stuff that's in here is all stuff that can kind of stay where it is. So all of our coats are hung up, you know what I mean? Everything is kind of, you know, everything is kind of made to transport the way we brought it out here. So there's only a couple additions that we've made. Is like I got to pack away the coffee maker. There's a couple loose items over here around the dining area that need to be packed up, and then also we just got to put away some of the stuff in the bathroom. But other than that, really it's just going to be about, I'm going to grab a couple of our extra blankets, and then up here in the cabinets I'll just shove some blankets up in there since we're only going a couple miles and we're going to be using this for the next week. And I think we'll get to that a little bit later, but right now we're going to start outside. All right, so starting outside, the big thing we have to do is all of our skirting, all that needs to come off. I was actually talking to my buddy who we're getting ready to move out to his property for the next week, and he's doing a little bit of building and stuff, so he's going to be able to use this. So I'm just going to tear it all down, keep it in as big as sheets as possible. We'll pack it up in the van, and when I drive out to his place, we're not going to worry about putting it back up since it's getting warmer and we don't really need to worry about it. So I'm just going to give it all to him. He'll repurpose it, so we'll keep it out of landfill. That's always a good thing. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and empty our gray and black tank, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill the water tanks, I think, because we don't have access to water out there. And even though that's going to put us right up towards our peak kind of weight for what my van can pull, we're only going about 6 miles, so I'm just going to baby it to get it out there, and that way we'll have 90 gallons of fresh water for the next week, which should be more than enough for what we need. I have two 30-pound propane tanks. One of them is empty, one of them I just have refilled, so that'll be more than enough for us for the next week if we need the furnace or anything. But before we do any of that, it's a little chilly. Sun's not out yet, so I think we're going to start a fire, so you can always have a little fire to go back to and stay warm while you're working. So we'll do that first. Got ourselves a little fire going. We'll just keep feeding that. I got a bunch of firewood, so I'll just burn that up today. So we'll keep feeding that as the morning goes on here. And yeah, we're gonna go get started. I'm gonna go ahead and pull our access panels and dump the gray and black tank, let that run out. Yeah, so we'll get started on that. And since we stayed hooked up all winter, I went ahead and cut this all out, and I used the cutouts, and I made these two little access panels basically to just, you know, friction fit in here. So that's been really helpful all winter long, so we can stay hooked up and everything. So we'll go ahead and pull our black tank first, and a little bit of weight there, so we just prop that up under there. So we'll pull the black, let that roll, then we'll pull the gray, and it'll flush everything out. We'll just let that run for a little while, get a good flush out, because also I got to disconnect the line and everything today, so I'd like that line to be kind of as cleared out as possible. So we'll just set that off to the side now that it's all cleaned out. Start picking up the rest of the stuff. Sewage is disconnected and ready, so now we'll just start peeling some tape and get some of these off of here. But before I do any of that, I need to go around the other side. There's a lot of stuff leaned up against the camper. So we've got firewood, some coolers, that kind of stuff, so I want to get all that pushed away. So I got access all the way around. All right, well, we got all the skirting torn down all the way around. Made a bit of a mess, but we'll go ahead and we'll keep these longer pieces for my buddy who's going to use some of it on the building stuff he's got out there. So that's all done under there. So now I just got to start pulling out all the storage stuff that we have stashed under there for the winter. All those little pieces down there need to get put up. So now we're just going to clean everything up, start packing stuff away. dump run has been made, so now I've just got to start clearing out everything under here and get all that styrofoam insulation, everything pulled out of there. And we'll start pulling the legs, and this is actually going a lot quicker than I thought, so we'll be able to pull out of here pretty shortly. Well, we're pretty much wrapped up outside. I got the tanks full, everything is pretty much packed up. I think I'm getting ready to actually double check everything, and then I'll hook it up to the van and get it hitched up and ready to go. Inside here, it's not really a lot to do. I just basically cleared off this counter. We're not, like I said, we're not going very far, so that lamp is actually double-sided tape to the dining table, and it rode all the way out here from Ohio, so that'll be fine. This cutting board, I modified it a little bit. I put a little cleat on the bottom of there that sits down in the actual stove, so once you lock it in, it ain't going anywhere either. And also that rode out here from Ohio like that too. So the only real issues in the cabinets, I went ahead and just bungeed this because this is where all of our dishes, and that's where the heavier stuff can push those doors and kick them open. So I just wrapped that bungee around there. And then the bathroom, everything is pretty much just kind of shoved in here, and I'll close the door, and that'll keep all that stuff from falling or rolling around. All of our pictures are all double-sided to the wall, double-sided tape to the wall, and they all rode out here from Ohio as well. I think we're almost ready for transport here, so I think the kitties know what's up. Something's going on. Don't you, sweetie? Don't you, sweetie? So they've been a little freaked out, but that's all right. They'll be all right. So, yeah, let's go get her hooked up and hit the road. All right, hitch is in. Let's go ahead and get this baby backed up. I gotta pull her out a little bit so I can pull my risers and everything off from under the wheels. But I gotta take the X-chocks off first, so I'm glad I thought of that. That's a wrap on 4 months at the KOA in Hardin, Montana. We're on to bigger and better things. next week out here on my buddy's property. He's got horses, all kinds of stuff, so this is gonna be our setup for the next week. We're just gonna enjoy it, relax. Got the Wi-Fi and everything set up. So we're just gonna hang out and have a good time. I really can't even express how much we enjoyed our time at my friend's ranch. He and his wife and the entire family were so incredibly welcoming and hospitable. We didn't really film a whole lot while we were there because we were just trying to be present with our wonderful hosts. But we spent the week having meals with them, watching Maple play with the horses, and sharing beautiful sunsets around the fire together. We even collaborated and built this awesome buffet cabinet for his kid's house, just using what materials he had on the property. The kids were all super stoked on it, and I got to make some memories with some good friends. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for this week. Stay tuned next week as we move yet again, but this time to stay.